All right. I'm not a DJ, but this is some pretty good tunes. Hey everyone. My cat heard me and now she needs some pets. So we're doing this thing again, the live stuff, and it's going to be weird because unsub and resub. I think it works like that. Um, say something in the chat to make sure you can hear me. It looks like it's coming out, but I have no idea. Say hello to Abby. That's not Percy. No, I'm not a ginger. You're a ginger. I have a ginger cat. Percy's in his crate because he just got a bath. Because we went to the dog park. We've been at daycare for 2 days straight. So he actually got peed on today. So he needed a bath. All right. So we're doing this thing again. And let me shut everything up. And Steve, I'm sorry. There's this like schedule that we all have, that us YouTubers have. And we're hardly following it. But also trying our best. And turn my music off. Because I don't want to like take away from Steve's viewers, but like there was a very small window of opportunity for me to actually get up and live stream and start this thing I'm calling the youth. What did I call it? Let me remember here for a second. The youth reach. No, it's not the youth reach out. It's basically the youth like series, the youth workshop series. So essentially, what it is if I transition a slideshow. Oh yay, a slideshow. It's a thing. So every I think week, hopefully, I'm going to give a presentation, and some of it will be pre-recorded dialogue from this youth reach out thing that the ARRL field organization unofficial group has been doing. And if you know Dan Marler, case 7 REX, Radio Echo X-ray, he's the section manager for Idaho, and he's been leading these talks every Wednesday. And so now I've come back on this stream to give them to my community here. So I'm not expecting that many viewers because Good Game is currently streaming, but that's not a problem, hopefully. And I lost my browser. There it is. And whatever they're talking about is way more interesting anyway. Talking about POTA with Jason Johnston. Also, I need to note for my 6 people here, he has 3,990 subscribers. And you know what that means, right? That means if you're not subscribed to him, you're just like keeping the man down. So go subscribe and get him up to 4K and then perhaps 40K. Who knows? I have a long ways to go before that. So, yeah, if you want to learn about youth and ham radio, here's where you want to be, right? We're going to talk about young people and how to get them involved in the hobby, how to get them interested, how to be an elmer. And this isn't for young people. Like, this presentation isn't, like, I'm not giving this for the young people out here. Well, I'm kind of giving it for them, but, like, it's more for you, the elmer, you, the older ham, the average ham. And basically, I'm trying to increase awareness about youth and ham radio in order to make it more fun for them, more entertaining, more interesting, you name it. So hang out in the chat, grab a cold one, and listen to me talk for like an hour, or probably less. I'm thinking I'm going to do 30-minute sessions because it's 8 o'clock and I got to go to bed eventually. Huh. So, Justin says. Sorry. I'm going to check out my stream and make sure. Perfect. I hear myself. So, I've got 6 gold medals in the chat. I've got everyone who's a mod in the chat. I have a weird YouTube channel because it's very old. It's 2007 era, but like all of my subscribers are gone. So like, it's almost like I'm starting from scratch. That's why we only have 8 here, but then everyone else is like 50, 60, 200. So share me, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, on to the show. All right, Youth and Ham Radio. This is my week 0. So this is when Dan Mahler asked me to come on to their weekly presentations and give a presentation about Youth and Ham Radio. And some of you might have seen this already. This is kind of an introductory talk that I've given in a number of places regarding, and it has some stuff about Yoda, youngsters on the air, and Yarg, and about my background, and about the background, the history of ham radio, or of Youth and Ham Radio. So yeah, it is a mods only chat. I'm like, what button did I push to make this happen? So, boom, here we go. Well, that didn't do anything. Boom, here we go. Here's the problem. Where are all the young hams at? Gotta emphasize, like, where are they at? They're over here in this little tiny part of the graph. And this graph is from the Innate RMA State of the Hobby Survey from 2019. And so you can tell, even though this survey is not a official or well done, I mean, it was pretty well done, if I say so, on behalf of Innate RMA, Dustin. He posted it all over the internet. So QRZ, Reddit, Facebook, tons and tons of radio clubs have taken it. And even though this was completely strictly an online survey, you can see the data right there showing the majority of hams are over the age of 50. And is there really a problem? I don't know. I'm not saying that the problem is there's too many old people in ham radio. I think the real problem here is that there's not enough young people, or even better yet, let me put it this way. There's not enough of this section. How do I do camera? Of this section of people inviting that section, those over here, this section into ham radio and being an Elmer and that sort of thing. So that's like the premise of my whole spiel. Okay, so I clicked the button. What happened? And so what do? The easiest thing to say is we recruit young hams. And how do we do that? And my thing is like covered up the doohickey. I've got to show all my things. There we go. Nope, it didn't transition. Hey, there's my emoji. Rule number 0: don't start with a test. Never, ever, ever start with, hey, do you want to get a license? Hey, do you want to take a test and hopefully get a license on some random, no, you don't talk about that. We don't talk about the test. I'll move myself up here. There we go. We don't do that. That's rule number 0. You don't ever talk about the test as an introduction to ham radio. You talk about that later, and we'll get into that. Rule number 1 is display your passion publicly. That's why all the mods here are on YouTube. We are here to display our passion and share it with the world. And it's not necessarily an agenda behind it, but if you do that, you're not only advancing the technical art of the hobby and following in line with the spirit of amateur radio, which is sharing your information. And it doesn't all have to be on ham radio. It can be on the internet or on a blog or in a book. But if you share it, people watch it, and it gets them in. It gets them enthralled. It gets the information out there, so it makes it easier for young people and all people to be a ham, be a good ham, and stuff. Rule number 2 is my fancy business speak, right? Leverage and support the established organizations, and I meant to put a little asterisk here, down there, that support young people. And this could be clubs like the Young Amateurs Radio Club, the Youngsters or Youth on the Air, or the Young Amateur Communications Ham Team. Wonder why all those start with Y. Says the little emoji going, because it's youth. A Young Amateurs Communication Ham Team, Youngsters on the Air, Youth, the Young Amateurs Radio Club. There are these organizations that are already supported or that are already existing, and they support young people because they are organizations of young people. One of the things that I forget to put in here is to also support those organizations that support young people but aren't for young people. For example, the ARRL. Okay, it's a touchy subject. Let me transition to my cool camera. I'm gonna turn off the studio mode. It's a touchy subject. The ARRL is it's the ARRL. They're a huge bureaucratic organization, and a lot of people have problems with them, but they give out a lot of scholarships, and they do a lot for young people, and especially in education and for what's the word I'm looking for, advocacy. They don't have a youth editor position. I'm looking at you. Maybe they will sooner or later. I've been trying to poke them on that. But they do support young people. Another one is Yasmi. It is, I don't know what their, it doesn't stand for anything. Yasmi is the name of a boat. And if you go to yasmi.org, I think, they give out tons of grants, tons of dollars to all kinds of things that support amateur radio all over. So like dig expeditions, but also young people. And I also throw out ICOM, and this is not sponsored, but ICOM is a huge supporter of young people because they give out tons and tons of, they loan out tons and tons of radios. They give out radios. They're at like every youth forum. They're at every young thing everywhere. It's a marketing thing, but they do allow a lot of young people to get on the air with their gear donations. They had this thing going with the Boy Scouts, and I think it's kind of like a roving pack of radios that you can ship anywhere, and it arrives, and you can support your organization's little on the air event, and then ship the radios back in Pelican cases, and then they go off to another youth thing. So, is the data available to break down each age category from the graph by age with you started in ham radio? I need to talk about that a little bit more. That is, the data of this chart is special because we don't have very good data on the ages and like the that sort of thing. And so what you're getting at, Stan, is has ham radio always been this curve? Like back, if you look at like the same, if all these people took the same survey in 1970, is there this large, growth, or this hump, I guess, at the older age bracket? Has that always been the same over the years, or did it look more like a bell curve at the beginning and then shift slowly to this way, slowly to the right, as people get older and as fewer and fewer young people get in the hobby? So that's like the big question, and no one takes that data. And the only way that we can really research that is through, I have no idea, honestly. The only way is really Social Security records through the FCC, but there's no way you can get a Social Security record through the FCC or through anything. You could get the ULS database and try to like do FOIA and all that stuff, but like I don't think we're in a position to be able to do that. Maybe the ARRL, but like they've been an organization for hundreds of years, and they've done, or 800 years, and they've done surveys like this in the past, but there's no data that really says like when did they get started. I did do an interview with Bruce, K1 Bravo Golf, I think, maybe Bravo Golf, and I'll have that up later on one of these premiere. It'll be a premiere, but not a live stream. So, like, and he has a lot of information on like how young hams were back in like the 1900s, and he has a lot of historical data to really back it up and say they were really young. Ham radio was a young person's hobby back in a long time ago, and you really hear this be waxed eloquent by Bruce a little later on. And Steve, temporary offline, says that most older hams have been a ham for a long, long time, and that's very true. If you ask anybody, if you just pick random people out of the Hamfest crowd, how long have you been a ham? Oh, 60 years. How long have you been a ham? 27 years. This, that, and the other, and it's everywhere. So there probably is a merit to get Dustin to ask that question. I don't think he asked it in 2019. He might have asked it in 2020. I can't recall, but it's definitely one of those things where it's like, how long have you been in the hobby? It's one of those things that a lot of people who present at Dayton and stuff, raise your hand if you've been a ham for 10 years or a year, and then keep them up if you've been for 5. Keep them up if you've been for 10, 15, 30, 60. One guy's hanging up, and everyone claps for him. How long have you all been a ham in the chat? 9 people. Tell me. I'm curious. So anyway, that's what I was talking about, is support those organizations that support young people. So, the Tumblr can tumble of youth. I make up words and I don't know what I'm talking about sometimes. So this is the week 1. This is like what we're going to get into. This is our curriculum or our syllabus. Week 1 is the Solutions for Issues workshop. And I actually move these things around, so like bear with me, but whatever. Showcase and identify the critical issues that are roadblocks to getting young people into ham radio and making ham radio interesting to young people. That's a phrase I use specifically, is we're not trying to drag horses to the pond and expect them to drink. We're making the water very, very tasty is what we want to do to make the horses want to come themselves. And so that's what I mean by getting ham radio into the hands of young people, and not necessarily getting young people into ham radio, because that implies you're just dragging them along. You're saying, hey, here's a test and you need to take it. It's not the way it's not the way we're gonna do it. And then brainstorm solutions. So I have a recording of like some of the brainstorming we did. We can do that in the chat here. We've got some young hams in the chat. 2 years. Steve's, you've been 5 years licensed. Very good. So if I had a giveaway, you would win whoever's the youngest, or not the youngest, but hasn't been the ham the least. So yeah, but I'm too poor to buy to buy giveaway. I have a bunch of junk though, so maybe I'll give away some junk. I hope you can hear in the background. Bill Gowdy checking in. All right, there's homework, and I'll give this homework to everyone here too who watches. It's going to be like a Google form that you can fill out, that you can that has a few questions on just, what are your ideas, what are your thoughts on getting young people in this way, so you don't have to like chat. Because the problem I have with like giving out these Q&A sessions, this one being on YouTube, is different, because you get to type it out, but maybe you're too embarrassed or too shy to type out something. That's why I see 10 people in the chat, but 10 people aren't talking in the chat. Where are you? I'm just kidding. But then you can get this. It's very easy. Like, you click a button to agree, click a button to disagree, sort of thing. That's only a few questions, and it helps me understand the heartbeat of what you all are thinking. Steve's, you got a giveaway tomorrow night on Test Channel, so go check that out. I definitely will win it. I really want to be like Mehdi Senjigar, Electro Boom, where at the end of his streams or end of his videos, he goes, giveaway time. Here we have a Morse code key, but actually he gives away oscilloscopes, which is dope. I wish I could give away oscilloscopes or something like that. Honestly, I have a plan of like doing reviews of gear and then giving away the gear, but then that means I have to spend like $1,000 a week on gear. I don't have that budget. Okay, and then week 2 is titled, and I'm in the way, 21st Century Relevance of Ham Radio. This goes back to like the history and all the way into the future, the next generation topics of ham radio that are of interest to today's youth, and positioning your organization for the future. And click. And that's it. I don't have any more bullets on this point. So this is really interesting for people in clubs and organizations and societies and contest clubs, etc., to listen to understand how to modernize, like get a website, get your social media presence working, and that sort of thing. So stay tuned for that. Week 3 is don't be shy, show me ham radio. And that's because I'm from Missouri, if you haven't been able to tell. Is there any Missouri in the background? We've got Tower Grove Park.
I don't think you can see the St. Louis thing.
Oh, yeah, the St. Louis thing is up there. See? We're here in Missouri, and Missouri is the show me state. So show me ham radio. And this is cool because I like this a lot because it talks about publicity, and marketing. And but not to your ham friends, and that's the problem with ham radio marketing, is that ham radio marketing is insular. The ham radio marketing happens in QST magazine. You know who reads QST magazine? Is a bunch of hams. The only time I have ever seen only two times I've ever seen ham radio marketed to the general public is Field Day, which is a given. We get out on the news and all that stuff. And then a billboard on some road, some interstate in Connecticut that ARRL put up that just says radio communications. In fact, I want to find it because it's just so like what the heck? Billboard. Oh man, this is a good billboard. Such a good billboard. What does it mean? Like, if you're driving by 70 miles per hour, are you going to be able to see what that URL is? What dash is dash ham dash radio? What is radio? What is this billboard for? Like, skill service? It should say ham radio, so people can be like, Oh, my grandpa does that. I'll look into that. Just Google ham radio, and then it's so much easier. But this is one of those things. I really like that ARRL started putting out billboards and communications on radio communications, but ladies and gentlemen, we have a way to go on that. So this is going to talk about that and how to market it to your friends, your family, and to the public, especially to your friends and family. If you've ever learned about or listened to I don't know, startups, is the way that people get their marketing, their startups started up is by marketing it and selling and getting their friends and especially their family involved. The family gives them money to like go out and start a venture in, I don't know, building widgets for the widget company 2.0, and then they were like the family goes, yeah, I really do like this, because they're supportive, and then you get it out to a friend and they're like, oh, this is pretty cool, I'll buy two, and then the friend talks to another friend and so on and so forth, and yada yada yada. That's kind of the old school way of doing it, but like it's a really good way of doing it. It's just tried and true. Sometimes things fail, but this is not something that is this is too big to fail, if you will. What's up, Red Summit? Hey, people are talking. Not a kiddo. Give me my water. I'm talking too much. There we go. Got some ice there. All right. So, marketing and doing all this stuff to via social media, advertising, blogs, YouTube, Twitter, TikTok, because it's not banned yet. Snapchat, Instagram, even regular like word of mouth, conversations, and that's super important. Like I talked to my wife over there about ham radio nonstop, and I don't know, how much is a weigh on you?
How much is it what?
How a weigh on you? Like, is it annoying, or is it like, oh, that's cool?
No, it's cool to see your passion.
It's cool to see your passions, he says. That's what I'm talking about.
I've said that in real life, not just for the camera.
Right. She has said that in real life. Ah, it's Astro Lee, the famous Astro Lee. Good to see you. I'm down here in the corner. Sorry. I hate when ice gets up through the hole in it. What am I talking about? And even though that she's not really into ham radio, per se, I haven't persuaded her enough yet. I think she will eventually. We're gonna make it a YouTube series, just like Josh and Leah Nass. I think they're gonna beat us to it though. They're doing the podcast, so. But it just gets it into her head. It gets it into your friend's head, gets it into your family's head, that ham radio is not a weird thing that you do in your basement, doing other random weird things in your basement,
It's also that.
It is a little bit that, but like, no. This is a Takaya. It's the same thing, but cheaper than a Hydro Flask.
Hydro Flask of life.
Another piece of ice. Justin has a Hydro Flask, though. It's like purely dented. All right, this one's going to be everyone's favorite. Week 4 of this is going to be understanding kids these days. I'm going to love it. When I give this presentation, it was just so hilarious, because it was like everyone in my Zoom was like, almost everyone was over the age of 60, and it's like, well, what are kids doing? One of them said, what are kids doing these days? And I'm like, that's going to be the title of one of my presentations, because literally, what are the kids doing these days? Where are they? What are they doing? How to engage and advocate for them. This is going to expand a little more than just like, the get off my lawn sort of thing. Like actual, let's get some kiddos on. Let's get like Astro Lee on here, or people who are young to actually talk about like, what do you do in your free time? What is TikTok? How do you use that stuff? What's the Snapchat thing? And see what they're doing, especially those young people that are into ham radio already, to see like what us old folks, and I'm 28, so I'm pretty old, should do to like engage and advocate for them. This also talks about youth safety, which is super important. I have a lot of initiatives out there. There's like clubs, or there's camps, and there's like youth contesting clubs and parties that are going on. And so it's super important in this day and age to like understand the safety of our young people. That's the most important thing. Smoking ape. Diversity, inclusion, and tolerance is another massive thing, because there has been a massive, like, I guess you would say, what would you say? Like an increase in openness Like young people are coming out of the closet more. They're more gay, LGBT, Q question mark this that and the other thing. They a lot of young people have different personas on the internet so that they can conceal their own, so they can be more friendly when they're out and about on the internet and anonymous and that sort of thing. And a lot of older folk and traditional folk find a lot of these things strange, weird, odd, like, or they have complete, propensities against the whole, I guess, LGBTQ plus environment. But what I've seen through YARC and a lot of other radio clubs is that you got to be tolerant. And if you're not tolerant, that's bad. And you got to be inclusive. And if you're not inclusive, that's bad. So that's really important. And that's week 4. So post-session homework. We're coming up to the close because what did I say? We're only going to do like 30-minute sessions. We've going on for where does it say on OBS? Like somewhere in there somewhere. I don't know. 30 minutes. Okay, it's 27 minutes. So like these are going to be short. I'm going to keep your attention, and you're not going to fall asleep, and you're going to get to do homework. So you have to like stay tuned, or else you're going to fail the quizzes. So boop, here's a homework quiz or homework question. Let me come on, click, load, stick that into the chat. What? That's the title update. Oh, that's not supposed to do that. He said no math. Trying to share this video on Candy Crush? How do I share a video on Candy Crush? Dad, you don't do it on Candy Crush. You do it on Snapchat. That's so funny. So this is an example of like the homework I want you guys to do. Name, call sign, email. You don't have to put any like real information. Your call signs are not required. You can put garbage for the email. I don't really care. But what I really do care about is like the answers to like the main questions. First one here is super easy. What do you expect to learn from this workshop? And what do you think are the most top 3 critical issues you're facing youth uptake of ham radio? And that's coming from the youth. Like, why aren't youth getting into ham radio? Why not the other way around? Why aren't we good at getting ham radio into youth? Why aren't youth getting into ham radio? I think if you turn that around and think about it that way, that's a much more powerful way of making ham radio that shiny golden thing that is of interest to young people. And it really is. Like, I mean, just look at me. Look at Astrally and a few other people in the chat here who are under the age of 1 billion. Sorry, I'm so mean sometimes, but it's all right. I hope people are laughing with me. It'd be good if like people in the chat would put in a little like that. I don't know. There's I know Aname a name loves the emojis there. So be like Aname or a name. So I think that's like literally it. It's been 30 minutes. And what else do I have in here? Oh, I have a bunch of pictures. I can zip through this. So let's talk about like some examples and some like stuff that's going on and ways of like getting or young people into ham radio and vectors, I guess you could say. One is schools, obviously. K9SOU is kind of a case study. Neil Rapp, KWB9 VPG, he's one of the founders of Youngsters on the Air or Youth on the Air in America. He is a chemistry teacher at the Bloomington High School South, and he also runs the Amateur Radio Club, which is super active. 102 students licensed since 32 students licensed since 2002. 102 students like actually going through the program, and get rid of my face so you can see, and had a lot of success. 3 teachers in there, and the point is like even though they're not getting all licensed, they're getting like information. They might come to it later. It might not necessarily be a terrible thing that all these kids aren't immediately getting into ham radio. It's that they know about it and that normalizes it so that it's not that weird thing your uncle does in the basement, right? Here's some stats. What they did. See what I'm talking about? Scholarships, $63,000 and 13 scholarships so far. That's crazy. That's awesome. Just from kids who have gotten into ham radio. They do activities like transmitter hunts, which are always fun. They build antennas. They do contesting and school club roundup. And here's some famous people from there. Patrick Lasandru is I think he's like a rocket scientist now, literally. He is well on his way to becoming like the even better version of Elon Musk, who's not like crazy or anything. Always shout out to Carol Perry, WB2 MGP, the MVP of youth and ham radio. She runs the youth forums at Dayton Hamvention and all over the place. So shout out to her for sure. He also got Newsline Young Ham of the Year award, of course. Don Wilbanks in the background. Don subscribed to me, but I bet you he's not watching. If he's watching, if you say anything in the chat, I'm gonna delete you. No, I was looking through my subscribers a while ago, and I saw him in there, and I was like, why isn't he watching my videos? All right, and then colleges is another school thing. Oh, I lost myself. Oh, see the guy in that. Hey, he's from Georgia Tech. Look, the guy in the corner. I think that's what's his name? Paul, or he might be another Sterling. I forget, but anyway. In this picture, you also see this guy. He's the current Young Ham of the Year and a winner of the Hiram Percy Maxim Award. So, like, shout out to him. And this guy, I don't know who he is, but he shouldn't be in the middle. He should be in the back somewhere. You have the ARRL CEO, the former ARRL CEO, Tom McGallagher. He kind of put the whole Collegiate Amateur Radio Initiative together, but right now it's Tony and Andy Maluzzi are kind of heading it. This guy in the green hat and this guy in the red one are the spearheaders of it right now. So they're doing all of the work, bringing a lot of this information and activity to colleges, and it's been really good. What is this about? The ARRL has this education and technology program, and so 500 schools have benefited from this to fund equipment and curriculum that integrates ham radio into actual like coursework in cooperation with local clubs. So that's a solid thing. Like I was saying, you might think the ARRL sucks, but they do some really decent stuff for ham radio, for youth and ham radio, as well as the technology. Wireless Technology Teachers Institute. They bring a bunch of teachers in. I'm in the way again, of course. And they teach them how to teach ham radio and use that as a vector, as a way to learn, to get young people to learn about ham radio. What's going on in the chat? I've been missing it. Toad, what's going on? Jeez. What's the number way? Hands-on is the number one way to get involved. Agreed. Toads for the win. Young Sterling the middle. That's not me. The dude in the yellow hat. Josh is here. What's up? Well, Josh, I was just talking about you. Me and Justin are gonna try to compete with you for getting our significant others licensed. I think you're gonna beat me though. What were you talking about? So, and then they also give out money for each teacher to start these programs. Sorry, I'm so scatterbrained, but that's the way the cookie crumbles. All right. That's it. I'm done talking. There's this post-session survey that I can't highlight because it's a weird like Google thing, but if I go to it and then I just like copy and then I just paste it a bunch of times in the chat and you go take this survey, then we can do good things in ham radio. So what are we going to do from now on? All right. I'm going to reconfigure like the schedule. All that stuff you saw earlier was like, I don't know. It was hand wavy. The schedule is not really set in stone. I have a lot of these presentations already pre-recorded. So there's going to be some Wednesdays where I produce a premiere. There's a Q&A like at the end of them. I'm going to do 30-minute sessions. I'm always going to go over. Remember when I did Morse code live streams and I was like, I'm going to do 15-minute, and every time I went like an hour, and people were like, good job. And I learned Morse code barely. I actually forgot it by now. Let's go to the big screen. So, and I'm going to do this, and we're going to involve the chat and get some people in interviewed, some quickie interviews that aren't too like, too long in the tooth rundown, something that I can have. Hey, here's the correspondent, Astro Kitty. Hey, Abby, what do you think about ham radio? And stuff like that. I also have, like I said, pre-recorded things that I'm going to put out, and I might even do those like in a mixture of live things, and then have like me as the Mystery Science Theater commentator while I'm watching myself give a presentation. It'll be weird. It'll be fun. I think it'll be like somewhat interesting to you guys out there. Wow, we blew up in stream count. 30 people in the chat. Sweet. Thanks for watching, everybody. You love my Morse stream. Maybe I should do that again. I don't have enough time though. If I'm doing this YouTube thing, then I guess I can do both at the same time. because I have a Morse code key right here. I can just. I do live streams because they make me laugh, and hopefully this information helps ham radio in the long run. So, Sam, everyone in your family refuses to touch radio. Mine too. My family has never gotten into ham radio. I am one of those outliers that doesn't have anybody in their family interested or even start out or do anything in ham radio. The closest it came is my grandpa had a CB radio, but he's my grandpa and he had a CB radio in 1970, so he gave it to me, and I learned a lot about CB. And my mom bought a police scanner, but that's because she was a stay-at-home mom and found out about police scanning on the internet, and it'd be interesting, and I heard a bunch of cool stuff, and that's where I found the ham button. Literally a button that said ham on the scanner. I have it somewhere. There's a scanner right there, my second scanner that I ever bought. It also has a ham button. No, it doesn't. Maybe it does. I don't know. But that's where I found a repeater and the local radio club and this and that, and I got my tech license. And long story short, I became a ham. So it was fun. And besides these live streams and such, I'm going to be doing more videos. So Monday night, Thursday night, ham radio. Words, look out for those. Temporary Offline always puts the playlists together, so keep an eye on his channel and our channels, all our social medias to keep aware of all of our channels together. And everyone makes some really amazing content. We're all really batting is the right word. We're all really bouncing ideas off of each other and really keeping each other in check. This is why I've gotten back into it, because they pressured me to start making more YouTube videos. So I got a cool camera with the flippy screen so I can see myself. And although half the time it does this thing where if I turn it on, well, obviously not that half the time, but you see how the lens cover kind of sticks. It rubs against the screen, and I've tried doing some things and cleaning it, but it works now, of course. This is also the camera that doesn't ever focus right, but that's my fault. This camera focuses a lot better. My iPhone, which it's an iPhone 10, and now that the 14 or iPhone 12 has come out with iOS 14, all my iPhone apps and battery is depleted, and everything's breaking in the phone, and things are terrible because planned obsolescence, and it's time to buy another $1,000 phone. But I need to buy a $1,000 radio, honestly. Just flick it with your finger. All right, so that is all I have tonight for you. Keeping up the cats and the dogs, so I'm gonna say 73, and drink some water and go to bed and prepare my next week's stream of, what were you saying it was? Let's see. Let me open up the old files. Let's give you a little teaser. Oh, I changed it to 21st Century Relevance is what I did. Let's tease it. Nope, that didn't do it. Nope. This is PowerPoint, that's why. See it? That was it. All right, hope you like that. Good night, Wait, no, you didn't see it. I didn't have the thing on. Let me do that one more time. One more time. All right. There, you all saw it that time, right? Okay, that's it. All right, everyone go to bed and watch our videos and subscribe to Good Game, because he needs 10 more subscribers before 4,000. So go do that. And I'll post a link in the chat first of all. Am I? Will I? YouTube.com/Good Game Ham Radio. Nope. Radio. Boop, boop. And boop. Nope, that's the wrong one. There we go. Hey, he's in the chat. Need one more. So, boom, boom, boom. Go subscribe. Go subscribe to K5ATA, and we're going to throw a party for him, right? And he's going to need to get something better than a paper play button. I think that's time for a wooden one. We'll have to make him something really nice for that. All right. I'm out of here, y'all. 73. Thanks for watching, and catch you next week, and maybe Sunday, and maybe on Thursday, maybe on... I don't know. I think my next video is really scheduled out for October 5th, but we'll have some more fun stuff in between there. So, bye, y'all. Thanks for watching. 73. What am I doing? I gotta have the music, right? Here we go. Gotta do that. Down tempo lo-fi. Nope, it's not even playing. I'll play with my mouth. Do, 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 do.